Hey witches, welcome back to my channel, Over the Hedge with the Wyld Witch. For this video, I want to talk about a tool that I use, and it is called a pendulum. Now, if you're familiar with divination, then you probably have used this tool or you have probably heard about this tool. And I think that pendulums are a great divination tool. For one, they're so easy to use. You can make your own divination tool with things that are literally around your house. And you can, use them when you first start, and you can use them when you have tons of experience and you've been in the craft forever. So, I think pendulums are great because you don't have to have experience, and you can have tons of experience and still use a pendulum. Now, like with anything else, of course, pendulums take practice, but first getting started, you don't have to study and do lots of research first, and all of this. You can just start using it. Now, I would suggest that you protect yourself some way, whether it be you cast a circle of protection, you call upon your guardians, guides, spirit animals, whoever it is that you work with, or you create a protection bubble or shield around yourself, or you wear some form of protection like a necklace or something, some kind of protection you are going to need. Now, these are all my opinions. This is not wrote in stone. This is not the gospel, nothing like that. These are simply my opinions and how I do things in my own practice. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So, pendulums have been used throughout history. We have used pendulums for finding water, for finding gold, for finding sickness within the body like infections. In World War II, pendulums were used to locate bombs, and in Africa, I believe it's South Africa, a group of miners contacted pendulists and got them to help them find these precious gems that were located deep within Mother Earth. So, this is just a small amount of things that pendulums have found and, located and done throughout history. If you have never researched the uses of pendulums throughout history, make sure you do that, if you're interested in those kind of things, because to me, it was very, very interesting. Now, today we can use pendulums for many, many aspects of our life. You can use pendulums to identify the gender of an unborn child, to figure out what the weather's going to be, to figure out how you need to dress for the day because of the weather. You can use it to answer questions about things like health, wealth, success, happiness, love, relationships, friendships, that new job that you want, a raise. You can ask if this is the right time to do that spell that you've been wanting to do, and so forth and so on. There's just so much that you can do with pendulums. Besides the normal, asking your questions, I also like to use a pendulum for seeing if mine and my son's, my husband's friends, family, to see if your chakras are in balance or not. It's really quick and easy way to use a pendulum, and I love doing that. And I also like to see where, if one of us are sick, I like to use the pendulum to see where the root cause of that tissue state. So normally whenever we get sick, it's a tissue state is out of balance. It's not like it should be. And so I use the pendulum to see, where that sickness originated from, to see what's going on with that tissue state, to see how it's, out of balance. And, it's great. That's another way, that I like to use it. Now, of course, use common sense. If you're sick, go to the doctor. Just use common sense when you use it. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. And I also like to use pendulums, or I have one particular pendulum that I made for whenever I astral travel. I use it. I also use it in path walking, and I use it in hedge riding. And I usually use it most often in hedge riding. But it's, you know, it's a particular one. Now you can buy pendulums or you can make it yourself. You can make a pendulum out of things like a paper clip, an acorn. You can use a rock. You can use things that you have, you know, other things like laying around your house, like a button. You can use a ring. You can use a necklace. You can crystals. You can use so many different items to make a pendulum. The main thing is you want the pendulum to have a weight to it, and you want it to be attached to a string, a ribbon, a rope, a chain, a piece of hair, dental floss, you know, anything like that. So you might use, you know, like this is a necklace. It's just wooden beads on a piece of wood. It's got an amethyst point in it. It's a necklace. I like to use it whenever I'm using the pendulum outdoors, because I wear it as a necklace and then I can take it off and use it. Let's see. This is a purchased pendulum. And it opens so you can put stuff inside, which is great. You can put offerings inside. Like if you work with the Fae, you could leave them an offering in when you call upon them. Or if you wanted to give your goddess, if you're calling on her, working with her, you can put it, you know, an offering in here. You can use it to locate items. Like you could use like this little key and put it in here if you lost your car keys, to help, you know, locate it, or water. You can also use things like crystal chips to amplify that energy. So you can use this, you know, a number of different ways. And then another little simple pendulum is this. It looks like a little screw. You can, you know, this one is a purchase pendulum. Again, it works great. And here's a pendulum that works great if you have shaky hands, because you hold this key and you hold it right here on the tip. So if your hands shake, I'm trying to make mine shake. If your hands shake, you just apply more pressure with your index finger and your thumb. So if your hand is shaking like this, you just apply more pressure. And then you want to feel like what it feels like when your hand is shaking, and then feel the difference from whenever you ask a question and it starts moving to give you the answer. You can feel the difference between your hand shaking, you know, or not, and you practice with it. And so this works great to use. And let me show you the end of it. So this is another one that I made. It has a protection charm on it, and it's got crystals that are associated with divination. They, you know, correspond with those energies. And it has a tiger's eye chip. It's like a triangle on the end of it. And then let's see, here is another one. Now this is the one that I use whenever I travel. So it has a protection charm on it. It has a butterfly for flight. It's got crystals in this little I don't know, it looks like an hourglass, but anyway, it's got crystals in it that are for protection, for astral travel, for your third eye, an amplifier, divination, intuition. So those are all in here. And then on this end there's a key and a door. So this one for me works great whenever I hedge ride, I path walk, or you know, do any kind of traveling, but especially when I go to the other world, it's amazing. It helps me to cross a lot easier in between the different realms. Sorry, I was trying to get this fixed. So yeah, whenever I use this one, like I can cross in the lower, upper and middle worlds a lot easier. Before, I would always have to go back to the middle world every single time. Like if I was in the lower world and I wanted to go to the upper world, I couldn't just go from lower to upper. I would have to go from the lower back to the middle, and then the middle back to the upper, and vice versa. But I always had to go from the middle, no matter what. I mean, it did not matter. I started and ended there. Well, when I use this, that's not the case. It's almost like it's a portal for each location, if that makes sense. Or like this is a door, you know, like this is the little door, and it opens it so I can go from all ones. I can go from the lower world to the upper world, and no problem, and you know, vice versa. So it's great. All right, see, here is another one that's really simple. You just take your crystal necklace that you wear and you use it. Now, you don't have to, you know, necessarily use crystals or points. They don't even have to be points. I'm sure that you gathered that on all the stuff that I was talking about. Now, whenever you use a pendulum, you can use just the pendulum, or you can use a pendulum board, a pendulum mat. You can use a spirit board. So this is a pendulum mat. I don't have any of the pendulum boards. I am out of them right this minute. I've got to make some more. But I do have these, it's like pendulum cards, or I call them spirit boards, but this one is called the Truth Fairy, and it goes with this pendulum. This was a kit, and so it's boards, and it has, you know, your questions. Like this one is the Joy card. So this is what it looks like. So you would use this one to help you find, like, if you have questions on ways to help you relax or uplift your spirit or find inner peace, or, you know, things like that, you would use this card. So it has play, seek, stay, pray, and then it has your yes, no, maybe, I don't know. So, you know, you would use it like that. And then you can use regular, like, spirit board, other types of spirit boards. You could even use a Ouija board if that's something that you're into. Now, I don't have a Ouija board. I am getting one, though. But I have this Ouija board rug. Let me see if I can pick it up. I have this Ouija board rug. And, yes, it is a rug, but I use it with my pendulum, and it works great. And it's got the alphabet and you know, numbers on it, and yes, no, and then it has a bat and a spider. So I use that as the I don't know, I don't want to answer, or maybe. And it, you know, it works great. Like I said, I don't have any problem using it. And it, you know, you are, well, let me not say you. So whenever I use my pendulum, the first thing I do, and it doesn't matter if I buy the pendulum or I make it, the first thing I do is smudge it, and then I hold it in my hands like this, and I whisper over it until I feel like it's ready. But I tell it to please give me the answers that I seek, no matter what the truth may be. Because sometimes we get emotionally invested, and it might give us the answer we don't want to hear. And we will, you know, start to get angry, or we might ask it over and over and over. And that's not something I want to do. You know, I don't want my emotions to overrule, you know, any kind of judgment. So for one, I try not to use a pendulum if my emotions are all over the place. And I also do not ask the same question over and over again within one setting, because I feel like that's disrespectful to not only me but to my guides, because I always work with my guides when I use my pendulum. So it's like telling myself your intuition doesn't work, and it's like telling my guides in this pendulum, hey, you suck, I doubt you, you know? And you wouldn't want somebody doing that to you, so why would you do it to your guides and your pendulum? So don't do that. And let's see, was there anything else that I don't do or do? I think that's it. I think that's the only thing that goes along with the pendulum. Just, you know, make one yourself, purchase one. It doesn't matter. Use your intuition and see which one it is. Oh, another thing that I do is I use the pendulum in my left hand because it's my dominant hand. Now, you might want to play around and see which one, you know, you like to use. If you use pendulums all the time, then comment down below and tell me which hand you use your pendulum, and tell me what you use your pendulum for, if you use it for different things. And another thing, if you're interested in finding out how to figure out if your chakras are balanced or not balanced, then leave a comment down below and I will make a video if you want to see that. And I can also tell you how I use it to find, you know, sickness and weaknesses within the body, like weakened tissue states. I can go over that with you as well at the same time. If that's something that you're interested in, just please let me know down below. Alright, until next time, I hope that you fly high, witches. Peace, homies!